Hey guys, it's Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you back another Pokemon Build series video. This is actually my second or third time trying to record this because yeah, I'm still sick and my biggest symptom, other than my stuffy nose, is randomly getting bouts of coughing. And so yeah, I was about 3 minutes into the first recording when I started coughing really, really bad and peaked the mic very, very badly. Um, and I was gonna just try and cut it so that I could, be like, oh, hey guys, like it's fine, I'm back. I was just coughing or whatever. But for some reason, my audio, like I could listen to the audio when I opened it in, is it VLC, whatever that is. I could listen to it there, but putting it into my editing program, couldn't hear it at all. So I usually, when I have moments like that, I will listen to it on the VLC media player and kind of figure out what second that it occurs, like where I want to cut, and then I just do my best guess in the video as to where I want to cut it as well. So, like in my editing software, but I didn't really want to have to do that today. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit exhausted, tired. There's a lot of things for me to do. So I thought I'll just scrap it and try again, and then I went to record it a second time and I started coughing really, really badly again. Hadn't even started yet, but I went and got a little lozenge thing to help soothe my throat, and that didn't help. So then I went and got some cough syrup, and that 100% helped. So yeah, look, still very, very sick, not enjoying it, not having fun, but definitely on the mend. I definitely feel a lot better. The last 2 days I've had a dull headache that's gone along with all these other symptoms, and I don't have one today, so yeah. Definitely doing a lot better. Definitely sleeping a lot better as well. Thanks to nighttime cold and flu tablets, they are definitely helping. 1,000%. I'm sleeping for like a solid 5 hours without waking up at all. And then that's normally when my cat wants me to let her out of my room so she can, I don't know, go run around for an hour. Because then, yeah, she comes back basically every hour to annoy me. But she gave me 2 hours this morning, so I think I slept a total of 7 hours, which is not usual. I'm usually around 7.5 and 8 hours. That's my happy spot. But, if it works, it works. Why, I'm not going to try and chase that extra hour of sleep if I actually feel somewhat decent and okay. So yeah, definitely on the mend, definitely feeling better, definitely don't feel as trashy, but still, yeah, you can probably hear it in my voice, that I'm still very snuffly, still very congested, and not feeling fantastic. And yeah, when I did this build yesterday, you could probably tell that I was still a little bit out of it, a little bit, not feeling great, not feeling fantastic. I couldn't decide on, like, anything for the first, maybe, I don't know, this build took 2.5 hours. Maybe for the first hour I definitely couldn't pick anything, and then for the rest of the time, the remaining hour and a half, it was just like, I don't know, I'm just gonna put this, and if I hate it, I'll come back to it. So there was a few things that I did go back and change, or, like, the stair placement. I'm not happy with the stair placement. I just could not figure it out. Was not happy with it, but it's usable. I'll say that it's usable. The stairs you can still go up and down. I just don't like the fact that right at the top of the stairs there's a door. I hate doors right at the top of the stairs. I don't know. I think it's just kind of like a little bit. I don't want to say dangerous, but like, what happens if you're rushing up the stairs and someone's about to come out of that door and rush down the stairs and you collide? Like, you're going to go flying backwards down the stairs if you are smaller than the person who's coming out the door. And yeah, I'm kind of scared of falling down the stairs. I don't think I've ever fallen downstairs. No, like, maybe I've slipped and fallen down, like, maybe a couple of steps, but I've never fallen down a bajillion stairs, like, from the top. But it still scares me. The idea of falling down the stairs, like, I would not survive that. You would walk over and be like, wow, you disintegrated, like, you're gone. You just into 1,000 pieces. And I don't know why I'm scared of it, because I don't ever recall falling downstairs that badly. Like, I can't even honestly think of a time I've even fallen down the stairs full stop. Like, I've slipped on a step, I've missed a step, I've tripped upstairs, I've not realised that there was an extra step, or thought there was an extra step when there wasn't. So, like, I've always been right at the bottom of the stairs, or when I trip up the stairs, it doesn't really matter, because you're going forwards, and I'm not going to fall up and then down. I could be that talented, I could fall up and then down the stairs, but yeah. Not really a fan of putting doors right at the top of the stairs, for that reason. But, I don't know, I definitely did have a lot of fun with this build, even though I couldn't decide on a lot of different things. And, I don't know. So, Dragonair, which is the Pokemon we're doing today, if you didn't read the title, it looks like a... kind of like Loch Ness Monster, I guess. Like, the head is very Loch Ness Monster-esque, but it's a sea snake looking Pokemon as well, with a blue body. It's not very bright blue, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's dull either. It's sort of like a, I don't know, like a soft middle blue. I don't know how else to explain it. It's not quite pastel, but it's bordering on pastel's like super light. Just imagine if it was a dark blue pastel. Not dark blue. A darker. That's why I said middle blue. Like, it's a middle soft blue. And it's got a white tummy. It's got little wings for ears. A tiny, tiny little horn on its forehead. And then, I guess where you'd put a bow tie on this animal, on this Pokemon, there is a little jewel gem type thing. And there are two of the same ones on its tail. So to me, it's kind of a little bit fancy. It's a little bit, mystical, magical, fancy. And I kind of wanted the build to feel a little bit like that as well. Every time I picked a piece of furniture, I imagined that I was walking through this house with the person who represents this Pokemon. Like, if this Pokemon was a person, and I'm following them around their house, how would they refer to the furniture? How would they talk about it? And that's kind of how I captured it in my mind, was that they were walking around like, oh, this piece here, like, this was handmade by, this really obscure artist who no one's really ever heard of, and, it's like a rare one of 3 pieces, but this is the only one that's in this colour, and, that's what I imagined. I imagined them slightly obnoxious, just ever so slightly, but I also imagine this person is very much into connecting with nature and, I don't know, just being very, very artistic and in tune with the creativity and the earth and animals around and stuff like that. And, like, people who are like that aren't necessarily obnoxious or anything like that, but I'm just imagining, like, the character I created in my head is the sort of person where you're like, wow, like, there are people who like this stuff and are not as annoying as you are, or not annoying at all, but you, wow. I don't know why I imagined this person as annoying, because I think being artistic is good, and I think being in touch with nature is good, and I think, having an interest in all that sort of stuff, like, that's fantastic. And I'm not saying people like that are annoying, but I'm just imagining this particular, like, the person who owns this particular house is annoying. And, if you like the house, that doesn't mean you're annoying either. Like, I just wanted this specific sim, who is totally fictitious, to be, I don't want them to be annoying, but I just imagine them being annoying, I don't know, I've definitely met people who are into that sort of stuff, and they're just the most wonderful, lovely people I've ever met. And to be honest, I don't think I've actually met the person I've invented in my head. So I think that's good, I've definitely, I've lived with a few people who are definitely a lot more in tune with nature, and I say, excuse me, that was gross, I had a weird little bubble in the back of my throat there. I say in touch with nature, but I'm not talking about, like, walking around barefoot 24/7 and hugging, like, literally hugging trees and all that sort of stuff, but they were very much, like, they care about the nature, and they care about animals and biodiversity, and I've learnt a lot about lungfish from them, and the survival rates of certain fish in certain areas, and Every time I have a question about bugs, beetles, creatures, any sort of thing like that, I definitely go to this person because I love learning about this sort of stuff. Um, and yeah, I do enjoy being around people like this. So I'm very grateful that I haven't come across anybody who makes me want to cry. I'll say cry. Dealing with them because they're just so annoying. But yeah, thankfully, like I said, everyone has been fantastic and amazing and beautiful. And I feel like the person I know the most who's like this, I think they would live somewhere here like this maybe. I don't know, maybe not a place this big perhaps. It depends on if they lived alone or not. But I definitely 100% imagine them living somewhere like this in the middle of a forest with lots of artsy stuff around and yeah, little like a conservatory room. I didn't make it so plant-like, but yeah, I did put a few plants in there and whatnot, but I made it definitely like more of an artist space. Just because I don't know, I felt like again this Pokemon would probably be very artsy. Also, I do apologize if you randomly did hear just a little cut with the audio there. I did just have another coughing fit, so yeah, trying to cut them all out for you guys so that you don't have to listen to me peeking the mic while hacking up along. It's not great, it's not fun, but you know, gotta get this video done, so I'm not gonna re-record for a fourth or fifth time or whatever we're up to now. But yeah, no, again, I had a lot of fun with this build, and there was a lot of things that really tested me and I was unsure about. Again, I said something about the stairs, at least I think I did. It drove me insane, the stairs, trying to figure out where to put them. So yeah, it's definitely a fun, interesting little build. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Yeah, no, 2-bathroom. And yeah, I don't know, it's a fun little space. So there is 2 sitting rooms, or technically 3 sitting rooms. There's 2 sitting rooms. You could add a TV and make one a lounge, but I decided not to because, I don't know, I don't think this person would have a TV. But yeah, like I said, there's lots of art places around, lots of bookcases as well. So yeah, there's a little library nook. There is an office space. No computer in there, but you could easily add one. I think there might be 3 easels. There's one on this front balcony thing. Well, it's technically the side balcony. There's one in the conservatory, and then there is one in one of the lounge spaces. So yeah, there's plenty of space to paint, which I think is super cool and super fun. I'm not much of a painter, I'm not really good at all, but I definitely try and have a lot of fun with it whenever I do end up painting, which is twice so far. I mean, I did paint a little bit as a kid, but I was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I'm okay with admitting that. Like, not everybody is actually good at what they do. And, you know, not everybody can pick up a paintbrush and just be a good artist. So I definitely want to be open and honest. Like, I'm not a good artist yet. I'm sure if I dedicated years and time and effort and energy that I could definitely become a decent artist. I feel like a lot of people could. But I don't know, I think I'd rather leave the good art to the good artists, you know? To the people who want to do that, who are dedicating time and whatnot. I don't know, like, I think it's a fun little hobby to have on the side, but I don't think I want to share it with anyone. I think I just want to do it for me, if I ever want to paint, if I ever want to, do art or anything like that. I think, yeah, it's definitely something, yeah, I'm not an artist. I'm not interested in being a professional artist or even like a side job type artist. I'd rather just have fun with it in my own time, and you know what? I'm terrible, and that's fine, and that's okay, and I'll live with that, you know? Like that, I'm happy to be a bad artist. I kind of find it funny because sometimes I'll draw, like, you know, for example, I could try and draw a horse. It would be absolutely terrible, but it's hilarious with how bad it is. But then you see people who are really, really good at art drawing really nice horses, and you're like, wow, like that, I wish I could do that. But if everybody could do that, then it wouldn't be as cool that that person can do that. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm kind of okay with not being a fantastic artist. And yeah, I'll leave it to the true born artists. But anyway, one thing I did want to talk about is the A to Z challenge. I've been talking about it a lot recently in my most recent video, so I do apologise if you've heard this a million times before. But it's a little, I say little, it's a build and cast challenge that I have. I run it every year from July to December, January-ish. But what happens is basically week 1, I give you the letter A, and you can do a build or cast creation based on that letter. If you choose not to participate that week, that's fine. You can always participate in whatever week you want. It doesn't have to be, you know, like if you just want to do week 1, which is the letter A, then just do week 1. Like there's no problem with that. But if you want to do every week, that's up to you. If you want to do every second week, it is a challenge where you don't have to do everything. You do as little or as many as you want. You can build, cast, or both. And the letter, it's really up to the interpretation of you guys, you know. I've seen some pretty cool stuff. Some really out-of-the-box things. I've seen things that are definitely useful in The Sims, you know. For A, I've seen people do A-frame homes. I've seen people do farms for the letter F. I've seen people do, like, nightclubs and, like, all of the lot assignments that you can do in the game. Like, you can absolutely do that. There's absolutely fine. But if you want to do something that is, I say a useless build, but, like, a build that isn't a lot type in the game, you know? Like, I did an arcade because that was this year. I started using CC for this challenge this year because I don't officially enter, and it is the only time I use CC. So, yeah, if you want to join, yeah, there is a link down below. There is all the information you need to know. There's the countdowns for when they are due. There's the hashtags that you need to put on the gallery, and the gallery is the only place you need to upload it, so make sure you have the right hashtag, otherwise I will not be able to find it. And if you use CC, you can still upload it and use the hashtag, but I won't be touring it, and it won't be an official entry just because, A, it's not fair on other people who have no access to CC. And I do try and make it as even as possible, even though it's not a competition, like there's no winners per se. There's still, yeah, a lot of people who don't have access to it and get discouraged if CC is allowed. So just to make it a bit more fair on everyone, I say no CC. But if you do want to, if you do want to use CC and just upload it anyway, like that's fine. I'm just not going to be able to tour it, that's all. So yeah, to those of you who don't have CC, do not worry. There is no CC allowed. But yeah, it's a good, fun little challenge. I was saying something about it and got sidetracked by another rule. Yeah, like I said, you can do whatever you want. There is also inspo down in the link, so if you need some inspiration, if you're running out of ideas, you can't think of anything, definitely go check that out because there's heaps of ideas in there. For every letter, there is a few entries, and yeah, each year as we get more and more entries, I will be adding those entries to the Notion page. So yeah, it's basically just a Notion page. There's no need for you guys to have Notion. There's no need for you guys to have any social media or anything like that. You just need to have access to the gallery, which if you have the game, you'll have access to the gallery. You know, so yeah, just make sure you upload by each due date, because I will be recording down all of the builds that are under that hashtag. I'm also, like, if you're a little late or you put the wrong hashtag, I can go back and check. I'm not too fussed. So yeah, don't stress too much about, you know, I have to get it done. Like, you don't have to do every week. They're individual, each letter is its own individual challenge. They don't play off each other. You don't need to do them in order. You don't need to do all of them. If you want to just do cast, you can just do cast. If you want to just do building, you can just do building. It's really up to you guys. But yeah, like I was saying, I have started using CC for this challenge because I enjoy CC. I think it's fun. I really, really like it. And I want to be able to use it, but I also want to be able to do builds for you guys who don't want CC. You know, these are all the builds that I'm doing for this series. So none of my Pokemon builds have CC. Every single one of them is kits and packs only. No CC at all. I do use Tool Mod and Better Build Buy. Those are the two mods I use a lot. Links for them are also in the description if you're interested. And I have a lot of fun with them. And I know that not everybody can get those mods, but me having those mods doesn't change your ability to download my lot. You just have to have move objects on, which I think you should always have move objects on. I love it. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. So yeah, if you don't want CC and you're not interested in it, then yeah, my A to Z challenge this year and next year and probably the year after that as well will probably all be CC. I think this year will, because there's a few builds that I want to build that I know I need CC for. But yeah, that's basically the whole challenge, and I'm super excited because it's so fun every year. And every year I always start really, really, really late with it, but this year I am actually starting next week. So normally I start in like September, October, but I'm starting now in the hopes that by the time I get to December, it will all be like good to go. I'll have most of my builds either done or I will have them worked on to a degree that, you know, it won't take me very long to finish it. And there's just a lot. 26 massive CC builds. It's a lot. It can be a lot. And yeah, I don't want to mess up my schedule, because every year I do it. Every year I accidentally start too late, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I get stressed, and it's just a silly little thing that I do. So definitely going to start earlier this year. I'm definitely going to stay focused and not stress myself out, because it's not fun. It's not fun being stressed. I can definitely guarantee that, yeah. So this is why I have the rule of, if you don't want to do every week, if you can't do every week, you don't have to. It's basically 26 mini challenges. And another thing I should note is I know a lot of people get busy during December, so the 4 builds in December, W, X, Y, and Z, they are all due at any point in December, and it kind of crosses over into January too. I don't really check in the month of December for the builds that are done. So if you finish it, you finish it. If you don't, you don't. Like, it's all up to you. It's all good. So apologies if you hear the wind outside. I don't know why. It's just so windy today. Which, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, it's crazy out there. But yeah, like I was saying, the last 4 in December are due basically any time before February, because that's when I live stream them every day, and for the first 26 days of February, and I tour the builds, and probably do some building and stuff like that afterwards. So yeah, it's definitely a fun and interesting little challenge. I've had some very unique and interesting things. And with specifically for the builds, you don't have to do a full build. So what I mean by a full build is this, like what you're looking at right now, it's multiple rooms. So if you just want to do a single room, you absolutely can just do a single room if that's what you want. Because I know it can be super hard and stressful to do 26 builds. Yeah, I definitely know that because I do all 26 of them. So if you are looking for something to make it easy, you can 1000% just do rooms. And with Cass, you don't have to do every single outfit. If you just want to do one outfit, that's perfectly fine. If you just want to do one sim, that's perfectly fine. I mean, even if you want to do an animal, it's basically, the rules are, if you can do it in game, then it's allowed to be entered. So if you want to make a horse into a zebra, if you can paint a horse to look like a zebra, do it. Like that's an entry. If you want to paint a dog to look like a raccoon, or I don't know, anything else, you can absolutely do it. You know, that's the beauty of this challenge, is it's something that you can just kind of do whatever you want, and have fun with it and learn more tricks along the way, or learn different styles, or do something you're very confident and comfortable in, and, you know, just do whatever you want, really. So yeah, it's a good little fun challenge, and I definitely enjoy it. And yeah, if you, like I said, if you want to check it out, there is a link down below to a Notion page, and it'll have rules and all that sort of stuff down there. So yeah, if you have any questions, definitely chuck them down in the comments, and I will 100% answer them all for you. So yeah, it's hopefully it'll be a good little challenge. And yeah, like I said, normally I start in like October, because I share all my builds in February for this challenge. And if I start in October, it's not enough time, especially now that I'm doing a video every day of every other month. You know, like February I do 26 out of 28 or 29 days, but every other month is the full month of builds, which I love, because the one that's at the end of the year for me and the one that's at the start of next year for me, I don't know, it just feels perfect the way that they line up and what they are. And yeah, I don't want to say too much. I'm sure you can figure it out yourselves, but I think it's kind of cool that they're like that, and I'm sure when I get to that point, I'll explain it to you guys, being like, oh yeah, this is this one, and that's that one, and this is why I like this one being at the end and this one at the start and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's definitely interesting, and definitely enjoying this challenge, yeah. I also know that when I get to the end of this challenge, I'm probably going to be like, oh my goodness, like, I can build whatever I want now. Because, like, I do want to do challenges. There's a few challenges that I've seen going around. You know, I say a few challenges I've seen, but it's basically videos from 3+ years ago. There was one that Dr. Gluon and Little Simsy did, where they both built a room, and it had to basically be a studio apartment. And then they had to describe it to the other person, and the other person had to build it without looking. And I thought that was so fun, so interesting, and I'd love to do something like that. But I'm kind of stuck with these builds for the moment, so yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of challenges and stuff that I try in the future. And who knows, maybe I'll get to like Gen 3 and be like, you know what, I'm gonna make like a Pokemon on Fridays or something like that. You know, I could change it around a little bit and give myself some more time to do other types of builds, because this is a lot. This will take me until January 2028, and we're in July of 2025, so yeah, that's quite a few years. I think that's 2.5 years to go, and I've already been doing it for 6 months. Well, technically 7 months. So yeah, look, there's a lot going on. There's a lot. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having lots of fun, and I don't know, like, what am I gonna do when I'm done? I don't know. I could do anything, you know. I could build whatever I want, and who knows, by then, like, I could be like, you know what? I'm done. Like, we've reached the end. I don't want to do any more building. I'm done with building. So I could get into gameplay, or I could get into a different game, or I could only build, like, I don't know, I could do anything. So yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's a big dedication. There's a lot of years to focus on this, but at the same time, I think this is super fun. There's always something new and fun to build. There's always ideas to be had. You know, inspiration to be gotten from these Pokemon, and it is a fun little experience. I'm definitely enjoying it. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know down below if you've been following along with this journey, or if you are new and you've come back to the start. If you did find a different video and then go back to the start, let me know what video you started with. What's the first one you came across? Because I'd love to know that. What's the one that got you into this series? Because that one's probably, if it got you into the series and you want to know more, it's probably a good build. And I do apologize for all the terrible builds you see along the way, because yeah, not all of them are good. I'm not a fantastic builder all the time. I'm like okay most of the time, and then sometimes I'm like, why did I even do that? Like, that's terrible. That's the worst build I've ever done. So I do apologize for the terrible builds, but hopefully my building skills have been getting better. I mean, you guys would be able to tell me that if you've been following along with this series, and seeing my progress. I'm still pretty happy with how the first Pokemon turned out. So Bulbasaur, I don't know, that one just turned out really, really well. I think because I don't want to say stressing about it, but I was like, it's the first Pokemon, it has to be good. I definitely spent a lot of time thinking about it, and how would I do it, and how would I set it up, and all this other stuff. So, yeah, look, it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. I think it's something that I'm very glad that I did. You know, it's the start of something, so of course you got to start strong. But I'm very curious to, you know, maybe at the end of all this, maybe go through all my builds and kind of figure out what are my favorites and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure as I get further through it, you know, my building will probably improve, so I'll probably have more favorites towards the end. But I reckon there are a few favorites that are gonna be from this gen, from Gen 1. I think Gen 1 are the Pokemon I'm most comfortable with, the ones I know the best, so, you know, I feel a little bit more comfortable building for them, whereas older gens, or later gens, I'm not as confident with because I don't really know them. But, you know, by then I might have played the games a bit more and watched the anime a bit more, and maybe I do know them better. I don't know. It's something that only future me will be able to say. And I'm definitely very curious to, I guess, go back and listen to the first video and see what it's like and hear what I had to say in that video and where all the inspiration came from and that sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know, it's interesting and curious, and I do like looking back on things like that and being like, oh, well, like, I didn't realize that's where my inspo came from. I didn't realize that it was, you know, oh, this or that or the other. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not even 100% positive where this build series came from. I know Tiny Snub had something to do with it, because she did a room challenge where you picked a Pokemon type and you did a build based on that type. And of course I did all 18 types, and I'm almost 100% positive it came from that. So Tiny, if you're listening to this, thank you so much for inspiring me. Tiny Snub is over on Twitch, so if you and Instagram, so if you'd like to check her out, please do. She's the whole reason why I am even doing this challenge. I would bet money on it. I'm not someone who bets money, but I would bet money on that she's the one who inspired me. So yeah, it's definitely really cool to see, like, an inspiration of, like, somebody inspired you to do something and now you're doing this really cool thing. Like, at the moment I've got a save file going on that I'm building with a bunch of builders, and it was inspired by, her name is Becky Baby on Instagram. She did a series where she did one build, one pack. So, you know, if she was in Willow Creek, no, that's base game. Okay, Glimmerbrook, right? That's where we are now. She would do base game and Realm of Magic for her build. And I thought it'd be really, really cool to do a save file for all of the builds, like every world currently, so not including the Get to Nature pack. Enchanted by Nature? I don't know, every pack is Get to something, so Get to Nature. That pack won't be included, and all the packs that don't have worlds are not included, so it's only packs that have worlds attached to them, so that means there's no kits. All the expansion packs are included, some of the game packs, and I don't think any of the stuff packs have worlds attached to them. So it's, yeah, basically mostly expansions that are a part of it. And yeah, I don't know, it's really, really fun because there's so many builds to do, there's so many builds to look at, and there's going to be so many different people putting it together and whatnot, and I love that. I think it's so cool. I'll definitely share it somewhere. I mean, I'll probably chuck it up on Patreon for free because I know that's how other people do it. I don't know how else to share it. So yeah, I'll chuck it up there for free. I don't like gatekeeping stuff. I don't like hiding things away. So yeah, if you are interested, it'll be free. And when you download it, it'll be all the worlds, but if you don't have the world, obviously it won't download that stuff. It won't download that world or those lots. But if you do have those worlds, then fantastic. Like it'll all be there. Because I was gonna upload them all individually, each world, but I don't really know how to do that, and that seems like a lot of time and effort and energy, based on the way I think it would work. But yeah, if you download it and you only have base game, all the base game worlds will appear, and they'll all, like, the build will look exactly the way the builder intended it to be, because that's how it is, like, that's how it works. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. And like I said, I'll definitely share a link for free on my Patreon. I don't have one, I don't think. I mean, I guess I do, because I pay for other people's things, like Super Sweetbot. So I guess I do. I don't know. That's a later me thing to figure out. But yeah, long story short, it'll be free for you guys to access. I will not gatekeep it. I will not lock it away. I will not hide it. It's something that, yeah, I don't like the idea of hiding things away from you guys. I do understand some people do, I don't want to say gatekeep, but they do ask you to pay for it because they put a lot of time and effort and energy into it. But these builds are all free on the gallery anyway, so yeah, I'm not gonna hide it from you guys. So yeah, definitely, that'll be in October though. So definitely keep an ear out for that. But yeah, we're pretty much at the end here, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this build and all my ramblings. Thank you for being patient with me while I am sick. I hope to be better soon, and yeah, if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.